We're going to talk about a word that, let's be honest, kind of makes us all cringe: laziness. But what if I told you that what we call laziness could actually be a sign of high intelligence? Yeah, you heard me right. Let's get into it.
Come on, we've all been there, right? You're just staring out the window, deep in thought, and someone snaps their fingers and tells you to get back to work. It's a label that carries this heavy, negative weight, and it never feels good. But let's really unpack that feeling.
So why does that word sting so much? Well, it's because from a young age, we're basically taught that doing nothing is a problem, something that needs to be fixed. I mean, think about it. Our whole culture is obsessed with the hustle, the grind, being on 24/7. So if you're not visibly doing something, people just assume you're wasting time. And that pressure can make any moment of quiet, any moment of stillness, feel like you're failing somehow.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. You've got two ways of looking at this. On one side, there's the view we all know. Laziness means you're apathetic, unmotivated, just wasting your life away. But there's this new perspective popping up in psychology that says, hold on, maybe it's actually about something way more strategic, like conserving energy, processing things deeply, and, figuring out what's actually important.
And that brings us right to the heart of this whole idea. What if that urge to just be still isn't a flaw at all? What if it's actually a feature, one that's directly tied to how smart you are? And boom, there it is. That's a huge claim, right? It just completely flips everything we thought we knew about doing nothing on its head. Now, the idea isn't that smart people just sit around and do nothing all day. It's that their minds are working in a different, much more deliberate way that doesn't always need a lot of physical motion. Let's look at the science behind this.
Okay, so to really get this, you have to think of your brain like a battery. It's only got a limited charge, right? And every single thing you do, whether it's running a marathon or just thinking hard about something, it pulls from that same battery.
So this is the key. This isn't just an excuse to be a couch potato. It's a super efficient strategy your brain uses. Your brain knows that deep, complex thinking uses up a ton of power. So, to solve a really tough problem, it might decide to power down the non-essentials, like, say, fidgeting or pacing around the room. There's actually a psychological term for this: System 2 dominance. So, the theory goes we have two ways of thinking. System 1 is your gut instinct. It's super fast, almost automatic, like knowing 2 plus 2 is 4. System 2, though, that's your deep thinking mode. It's slow, logical, and it takes real work, like trying to figure out a complex puzzle. Well, it turns out that people who love to think deeply tend to rely on that energy-hungry System 2, and to fuel it, they have to conserve energy somewhere else.
All right, so if we're not going to call it laziness, what should we call this state of productive stillness? Well, psychologists have come up with a name that really nails what's going on.
I mean, we need a new word, don't we? A word that doesn't come with all that baggage, a term that actually acknowledges the powerful mental work that's happening just under the surface.
And that term is cognitive quiet. I love that. It's not about being empty. It's a state where the body gets quiet, so the mind can get really, really loud. It's basically your brain telling your body, hey, listen, I need all the power right now. I'm working on something big here.
And you can see how it works, step by step. First, some kind of complex problem shows up. Then, your brain signals for the body to power down. It reroutes all that energy upstairs, to your head. And that's when it starts. The deep work, the analysis, connecting the dots, all of it.
So, what does this all mean for you, in your actual life? How can you use this to your advantage? It's really all about reframing how you think about downtime. This is probably the biggest takeaway of all. That feeling you get, that urge to just sit and think, that's not a flaw. It's not a sign of weakness. It's your brain literally gearing up to do its best work. So instead of fighting it, maybe you can learn to just lean into it. That quiet moment could be the exact thing you need for your next big breakthrough. So if you remember one thing, let it be this. The next time you see someone just staring off into space, or the next time you feel that urge yourself, just remember this concept. You're not being lazy. You're not wasting time. You are probably engaging in cognitive quiet, which might be one of the most productive things your brain can do.
And that's the question I really want to leave you with. Think about it. What big, complicated problem is your brain trying to chew on in those quiet moments? What incredible, creative idea is it trying to build? Maybe if you give it the space it's asking for, you'll be absolutely